Hey everybody. I just thought I'd start making a habit of documenting some thoughts I have while I'm reading the scriptures and everything, and just because my memory's not always the best. And maybe someone else might gain something out of it. But I'm going back through the book of Genesis for the second time in the Septuagint, and I was reading the story of Cain and Abel, and I got much further than that, but a thought came across my mind. Um, there's certain parts in the scriptures, like all throughout it, where it'll seem as though God is asking a question or making a statement to somebody, and it seems as though it comes across as though like he's not aware of the outcome, and which seems like a paradox or a contradiction because he knows the beginning from the end. He tells us that he knows basically all of time and its layout. And yet there's these moments where you'll see him ask a question of somebody or make a statement to somebody, and it comes across as though like, well, is he surprised about this situation? Does he not know what's going on? And I want to give the example in the story of Cain and Abel. Cain, ends up killing his brother Abel, and God comes to him and he says, "Hey, where's your brother?" And he tells him, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And God tells him that, well, your brother's blood calls out to me from the ground. So when he asked him that, he asked him that question. It wasn't that God wasn't aware of what had occurred, and it was in kind of in the way that we would ask our child a question, like think if your kid threw, you walk out of the room and they throw food all over the walls or something, or they get into stuff under the sink and make a big mess, and it's like, it was them, but you'll still come up to them and you'll be like, "Hey, did you do that?" And it's not because you don't know whether they did it or not. It's because you're stimulating their mind. You're in one sense, making them think about their actions. And also you are in a way sort of testing, are they going to be honest with you? What's their reaction? Will they own what they just did? Or are they going to lie, and are they going to deny it? And you already know the answer. And I just thought that was fascinating. So if you ever hit a spot in the scriptures where it seems like you're wondering, like, why is God asking that? Because sometimes he asks a question and there's not like a revelation after, like he already knew the outcome. Sometimes he just asks a person a question and it records their response. But just know that he's not asking because he's not aware. He knows the beginning from the end. And I always like to bring things over to Messiah. We see the nature of Yahweh, of the Father in his Son, in the same way where he went to the Samaritan woman at the well, and he's talking to her. And then at one point he says, "Well, why don't you bring your husband over here?" And she tells him, I don't have a husband. And he tells her, "You answered correctly. You have had five husbands, and the man you're living with now is not your husband." So he wasn't asking the question because he wasn't aware, because he's the creator. He's the son of the Father, the sent one. And just another example, you'll see that throughout scripture. And I guess that's all I really have to share. Blessings.